Marcus Guiliano here, international speaker, business author, Forbes Business Council contributor, and restaurateur. So this is a question that I get a lot, and I see a lot of people post this on forums. So I grabbed another person who just posted this probably yesterday. And of course, this is a question. This is like one of the most major questions that's out there for a brand new restaurant owner. Is how do I get restaurant investors? But specifically, I need help getting a business plan. A business plan is what every restaurant owner thinks is crucial and thinks they need one. And I'm going to talk about my opinions on a restaurant on this today, on actually building a business plan. Now, for my restaurant, I built a business plan. It was like a 15-page business plan. I took that business plan in front of a board that voted on giving me some extra money, but it wasn't the way I got my original funding. I got my original funding. It was my own money. I needed some extra money. And so I went in front of a board with like a 15-page business plan, had everything detailed out. And I got to tell you, it was a local board that has money for community development. They actually looked at the business plan, and they were looking at it, and they had no idea what they were looking at, by the way, just no clue. And they were like, oh yeah, and then they just brushed it off and were like, yeah. And I've also seen some of these municipalities approve business plans that are just so terrible because it's like, wow, you just approved a restaurant in this location, and like, haven't you done your homework? Because just by doing market survey, there's no reason even a restaurant like that theme could even exist in that location, and this and that. And so business plans. But if you want to approach somebody and investors, an investor or multiple investors, what's the best way to write a business plan? Is typically the question. Marcus, I need help writing a business plan. First question I ask is, who's it for? Oh, well, I want to show it to a couple of people, some private investors, and see what they think to get money from. Here is why you do not need a business plan. You do not need a business plan. I'm going to talk about this. This might be a shocker for some people. I know I had one, and believe me, I didn't use it to go to private investors. I had my own money. I went and did it for a municipal reason, for this and that, to sit in front of a board who was looking for numbers. It wasn't their money, so they weren't really concerned with it because they were the gatekeepers to money that was as far as grant money. So that wasn't typically their money. But if you're approaching somebody and asking somebody for $5,000, $50,000, $100,000, $250,000, there's a specific reason why you're not to give a business plan. Zero business plan. Before we jump into that, my 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make book, I believe the business plan is not in here, so don't go looking for it in there. But this book is for free, by the way. Lavinia will drop a link. I'm not sure if Lavinia is live watching right now, but as soon as Lavinia is on, she will drop the link to this, where you get the book for free. You just pay for shipping. So now, why don't you want a business plan? People are going to say, well, that sounds crazy, Marcus. That just sounds insane. Like, I want to build a restaurant. I need investors. Why don't I need a business plan? So here's why you don't need a business plan. Because a restaurant is extremely high risk. A restaurant is the most extreme risk going out there in the business world. The restaurants have the largest failure rate. They're undercapitalized a lot. They're underknowledged a lot. It's just amazing. Lavinia's on now. Lavinia, if you can drop the link for the book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make, that'd be fantastic. Again, that book's for free. Just drop it on the link there. That'd be great. So why do you not need a business plan? You do not. You've heard me correct. You do not need a business plan when you're approaching private investors for a restaurant, because a restaurant is extremely high risk. People, you can look for people to give you money. I'm not saying don't look for investors. I'm saying don't come up with a formal restaurant plan, a business plan. I mean, you might as well take a business plan and just crumble it up and throw it away when you're approaching private investors. And here's why. Extremely high risk. I know I've said that. If you're any experienced investor, which is what you want, an experienced investor, right? You don't want an amateur investor. You want an experienced investor. But any experienced investor is going to say, Marcus, I know you can fudge the numbers. And I know restaurants are extremely, extremely high risk. They're going to know that up front. That you just add a couple numbers in and extrapolate the sales out, and all of a sudden everything looks fine on paper. And they're also going to say, they're saying, I know you can do that. A non-experienced investor is going to look at that and say, wow, this is great. We're going to make money. I can put more money in. We're going to make money, this and that. Now, what happens when you don't make money? What happens when there is no return? What happens when you can't even afford to pay back the investor? That investor is going to hound you for the money. They're going to be down your back for the money. They're going to let you know, where's their money? Who's got my money? You got my money, and where is my money? And that's what this kind of investor is going to do. That's rely upon a business plan. Well, you said it, Marcus. You said you were going to make this amount of money and we were going to break even, but you said it. It's in paper. I have it in paper. You don't want that kind of investor. The investor that you want for your restaurant, or investors, I'm going to make this plural. The investors that you want for your restaurant are people that believe in you. Of course, they want their money back, but they're going to give you money and understand that it's extremely high risk. They're going to understand I might not get their money back. That might not be able to give them their money back. And they're going to it with that. And they're going to understand that you might need an extra 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And you're not locked into a certain time to pay them back. And that's the last thing you want to do, is lock in certain payments for investors. You don't really want to lock in payments. Say, every month I owe you $1,200 and I owe you $1,200 and I owe you $1,200. That's the last thing you want to do. And I'll explain briefly on how to set that up the most efficient way. So again, you want to get the right investor, somebody who believes in you, believes in your mission, believes in your skills and capabilities, and says, wow, I really trust Marcus because I've seen him operate 2 other restaurants. I've seen him under pressure. I've seen what he's done financially. I've seen what he's done. I believe in him. I believe in his restaurant. Yes, that's a good idea. Let's do this. Marcus, here's 10, 15, 20 grand, whatever. Now, you want to buffer people's losses. So you don't want to go to one person and say, I need $500,000. You want to go to 10 people and say, I need $50,000 each. Or you want to go to 50 people and say, I just need $10,000 each. That's all I need. 50 people, $10,000 each. That's an easy number for a lot of people to break down. And if somebody's going to give you $10,000 or $25,000 and they need a business plan, they're the wrong investor. They're giving you that money because they understand this might or might not work. So if you start switching your mindset to get those type of investors, they're going to give you much more leeway and truly understand and believe in you. And because they believe in you, you're going to get that leeway from them. Now, here's an interesting way to approach this. And I know a friend who actually has successfully done this in 40 restaurants, very successfully done this. He gets his investors to put up 100% of the money. 100% of the money comes from 25 guys or 20 guys, right? He'll raise $500,000, $1 million. He puts zero in. He uses other people's money. But they've seen him in his previous 20 restaurants, 30 restaurants, and they've seen what he's done. And he's had restaurants that have failed before. He's closed up restaurant. They've gone under. So not every restaurant, even from the best restaurateur out there, is going to succeed. So again, because this is very, very high risk, and you want your investors to know that. Up front, high risk, no business plan. I'm not making any promises. You're giving me money because you believe in me and what I can do and because you've seen my past success. So he gets these guys to put up all the money. He pays them back first before the restaurant's allowed to make money or before he's allowed to take profit. Okay, so this is key because this is called a preferred investment. So if you get guys to give you guys and gals, investors, to give you $250,000, the restaurant has to pay them back first. Not on a scheduled time frame as the money's available. It pays them back first before the restaurant's allowed to make money, before you as the primary owner is allowed to take profit. You can get a licensing fee, you can get an operational fee, depending on how big of your role is in the restaurant. If you're just there, just overseeing the restaurant, not really working it, and you're doing other businesses, you might take like a 2%, 4%, 6% management fee that then you pay yourself because you still have to run through some type of a management regime and manage. So you're going to get paid something, but not much. You pay all of the $250,000 back. Then, now zero interest on that, by the way, zero interest. They get back face value for their investment. Then from there, if you've got 20 people, 20 guys, 20 investors in, to do that, $250,000, they each get 1% of the business. They get 1% of the business for the life of the business. So they get dividends of 1% for the rest of the business. You maintain 80% of the business. You might want to give 10% to a chef partner, to a managing partner, front of the house. You might want to divvy that other percentage up where you still have 51% or more controlling interest. But the guys that you've approached are now at 20%. All 20 of them have 1% each. And you might not think, well, gee, Marcus, what's in it for them? If you're a smart restaurateur, you're going to sign a 20-year lease, which means you have 20 years to pay them back, make money, and make money. Now, most restaurants, it takes 7 years, 6 years, 5 years. My one friend, in a year and a half in some of his restaurants, he can pay all the investors back. So if you can pay all your investors back within the first 5 years, they have 15 years left on a lease of you paying them back 1% of the profit. That's their interest, okay? And if you're in a restaurant that's doing $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, this is a very, very lucrative offer for an investor to throw in 25 grand, get paid his 25 grand back within 5 years, and then get 1% of a $3 million business of revenue, not of gross revenue, but of the profit of a $3 million business or the profit out of a $5 million business. I mean, that right there is an amazing situation for an investor, right? But again, it may never get to that because this is a very high risk investment. So that's how you do that. It's called a preferred investment. They get paid back before the restaurant's allowed to make money, before you're allowed to take profit, before you're allowed to really pay yourself something. Take a management fee if you need to. If you're operating, like as a chef, then you obviously have to draw a salary. And then they get a long-term lease. And there's things on leases too that you should know. Like you know, an inexperienced restaurateur will get a lease that they can get out of. Like every year they have an option to get out of. And so, but you know, landlords, it's tough on landlords on this one because you have to be a really experienced restaurateur, and the landlord has to say, wow, this guy's coming in here, he's throwing $500,000 into my building or $1 million into my building, and when he leaves, he's going to leave a lot of that stuff there, so he's going to really beautify my building, and I know that he has, you know, one other restaurant, two other restaurants, or whatever, and he's very successful. So the landlord has to be willing to take a chance too, where, hey, I can get out of this without you as the owner. I can get out of this without, you know, signing away personally for this. And, you know, if it doesn't work, I can give him 12 months notice or 6 months notice, and where he's going to get that kind of lease from the corporation and then terminate that lease, but have a 20-year locked-in lease. And some restaurateurs I speak to are like, Marcus, my landlords would never, ever, ever, ever go for that. And landlords do go for that. If a landlord finds the right restaurant owner, the right restaurateur, they will do things like that for them. So I know of people that have done that. I really know of people that have done that. So, and some restaurateurs say, okay, well, you know, the landlord would give me was a 5-year lease with 3 5 options. That's better than, you know, a full 20 run, a 5-year with 3 5-year options. And again, the longer the lease you get, the longer the options you get, the more attractive it is for an investor. If you approach an investor and say, I need to borrow $25,000 to open my restaurant, you and how many other people, and you had a 5-year lease, as an experienced investor, I would say there's no way you're going to pay me back 25 and 10 other people $25,000 in 5 years, and there's not going to be any money in it for anybody. So again, you want to find experienced restaurateurs, experienced investors in the restaurant industry, people who understand extremely high risk. They might not get their money back. You do not see a business plan whatsoever, because a business plan can be manipulated any such way to make it look good. And if you can manipulate a business plan that good, you might as well go to the bank and get money from the bank or wherever. But a lot of people don't go to the bank because the bank won't give you money. And when you get a loan from the bank, they want their money every single month on the 1st or the 15th, whenever you sign. They want their money every single month on that specific day, and there is no leadway because the bank is not a good investor. All right, so future business owners, future restaurateur owners, no business plan whatsoever. Hope this helps anybody that's going in this situation with this. I know I've given this advice to a lot of other people before, and they've thanked me immensely, because you do not want a restaurant investors down your back looking for your money and pressuring you like the bank would pressure you. Everybody, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Check out that link there for my free book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make. That book is free with that link that Lavinia dropped. You just pay the shipping and we'll get it right out to you. I sent one to Alaska today. Sent one to upstate New York. Actually, I sent a couple books out today. I was post office today, mailing a couple books out again today. Thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later. Hey, Marcus Guiliano here. So if you like the content that I'm providing in this video, you can get my book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make, for free follow the link below in the description of the video, and there's a link to get this book for free. I will ship it to you. You just pay the shipping. I've got the books already here. They're already paid for. 50 mistakes that business owners make. 15 years plus of me documenting my mistakes and how I corrected them and how I mastermind with some of these mistakes and how I learn from others and what I teach my coaching clients. And again, this book is totally free, so take advantage of it while supplies last.